Hi guys, it's Oscrix. Today I wanted to give an update on my Storm Mage Lich and kind of show the gear, talk a little bit more in specific detail about the skill gems and support gems I'm currently using, and yeah, discuss what the pros and cons of the build are, talk a little bit about minions maybe, and yeah, kind of go over the build I'm doing. The footage you're seeing right here is in a tier 12 map. I'm on my second day of mapping for this character on hardcore, and it's been going quite well. The Storm Mages do way more than enough damage to be able to clear maps for me at this point. It seems like based on their damage that they're definitely going to be able to scale up high enough to do tier 15s, although I haven't gotten there yet, but I'll probably start doing those either today or tomorrow. You can see my single target's really good here. The boss is just kind of getting chunked. All my skeletons get wiped by the AoE ability here, so my DPS basically falls off a cliff. But that's unavoidable for minion builds, right? But they come back fast enough, and then yeah, they nuke the boss. They definitely have good single target. They have great clear because of their lightning ability that chains. I'll skip over to like kind of this part of the video. Let's see here. And yeah, you can see that their ability is just like arc. They cast the spell and it chains between like everything really nicely. So their clear speed is really good. That's something that got increased this patch. Previously they didn't have as many chains. And then on the minion buff patch, of all of the minions that got their damage increased, they received the heftiest buffs. So I believe right now, based on the data and based on my experience testing everything, that the Storm Mages are the best minion that you can be playing. So let's talk a bit about the gear and the skill gems. So the gear, let's start off with that. My gear right now is very bad. You can see I have 5300 energy shield. That's a lot less than I want to have in the end-to-end game. But let's start with my scepter. It's pretty terrible. Plus 3 minions and a little bit of spirit. That's the only relevant stat on it. The things that you kind of want here are allies and presence cast speed, allies and presence damage, more spirit, and more minion levels than what I have. My helmet, plus 2 minion levels, a little bit of ES, some life, and some int and resists. The most important thing here is definitely plus 2 minions. You could also wear an at-Zeres in this slot if you want more damage reduction instead of the minion levels, if you want to forego the DPS. My amulet, life, and minion levels. I'm missing a minion level here, and a little bit of resistance, some attributes and such. And then Sun Splinter. So this is the biggest win for minions in the patch right here, this item, Sun Splinter. First off, it takes 101 dex, so you really need to go out of your way to have enough dex to wear this. You can also socket a soul core in this that converts some of its attribute requirements to int, so then it costs about 80 dex to wear. But this item gives you maximum resist of all types, 3, 2, 1, so it gives 3 fire, 2 cold, 1 lightning. And mine also gives plus 3 level to all lightning skills, so that's plus 3 level to storm mages, plus 2 to fire, and plus 1 to cold. So this item can roll randomly, or it does roll randomly rather. I dropped another one earlier. You can see this one has plus 3 to cold, plus 2 to lightning, plus 1 to fire. So you want to get one that has plus 3 to lightning for this build, and that's going to give your storm mages 3 levels for your offhand, which is insane value, not to mention the fact that you get maximum resist from it. So this is the biggest item you can get. It's pretty expensive right now on softcore trade, but it's very good for the storm mages. My rings are just resist rings, nothing special here, nothing going on, basically just resists on them. My body armor has ES and spirit, a little bit of resist. My belt is just complete trash, just 2 resists. My boots, movement speed, a little bit of ES and a very tiny amount of resist. And my gloves, very small amount of ES and some resists. So that's kind of my really bad gear that I've put together on day 2. In the path building below, or in the Pobin below, I'll put in some gear that's just like shows exactly what you want. Basically, in every slot, you just want a bunch of energy shield, and to solve your resistances, that's about it. So just get as much ES as you can for each slot. Get as much spirit and minion levels as you can for each slot. So that means your body armor and your amulet for the spirit. And then for your helmet and your weapon, same thing, as much spirit and minion levels as you can get on the items. And that's about it. Let's go over the skill supports real quick. So Skeletal Warrior in your Rattling Scepter. Sacrificial Lamb, this is so good. This makes it so your Pain Offering always targets your Skeletal Warrior. You definitely want that. Culling Strike for a little support. Maim for a little support. And Death March for when they die, they heal everything else. Sigil of Power, this is in your weapon swap. It's staff, a chiming staff. And this gives an AoE that gives 14% more spell damage to everything in the AoE. And you can weapon swap to it, drop it like this. You can see it's massive. And then everything that stands within this AoE, and this AoE lasts about like 20-something seconds on this build, gets 14% more damage. So this is just 14% more damage against a single target, like a boss. Before you start a boss, you could drop this down, and your Storm Mages will get a lot more damage from it, so that's a really good weapon swap. Spectre Terracotta Soldier. So this is a Spectre that costs only 9 spirit with the reservation reduction. The reason why we have the Terracotta Soldier, it has blind on it, but it basically has no functionality at all. The only reason we have it is because of this support on the Skeletal Storm Mage, Muster. Supported minions deal 7% more damage for each different type of persistent minion you have summoned. So that means because I have a Storm Mage, a Cleric, a Warrior, and a Terracotta Soldier, that means that I have 4 different ones. So this is a 28% more damage support, which is insanely good. And then I've got Controlled Destruction, which is 25% more damage. Lightning Penetration, Feeding Frenzy, 30% more damage. And Arcane Tempo for more cast speed. So those are the links on the Skeleton Storm Mage. I've got Voltaic Mark. This gives you higher chance to shock, and it also gives increased effect of shock on the marked enemy, so you can use this against bosses. And I have Execrate on there, although it doesn't really mean much. Pain Offering is really good. Gives you attack and cast speed and then some damage. I've got Meat Shield, Persistence, and Ablation on here. Ablation's basically free to use for Lich. Doesn't cost any life at all. Conductivity, of course, is support to reduce their lightning res for their spells. I've got Heightened Curse, Inspiration, so it costs less, and Hex Bloom, so it spreads when I'm using it like mapping. Skeletal Cleric, I've got Last Gasp and Elemental Army, and you can also put Ingenuity on these guys too, if you'd like. That's a pretty good support for them, the cooldown reduction one. And then I've got one Skeleton Storm Mage that is separate from the other ones, and it has Conduction for more chance to shock, Coursing Current, so shock spread when they shock, and Lightning Exposure, so when they shock, they inflict exposure. So this one's just like a support Storm Mage, and I just run one of those. So those are all the gems I'm running right now. The playstyle is quite simple. All you do is run around your map, and you can try to keep your Pain Offering up. If you're going to be fighting a boss or like a strongbox or a expedition or a breach, you can drop down your sigil before that starts, and then weapon swap back to your regular weapon set, cast Pain Offering, and then all of a sudden you've got a bunch of damage steroid for all of your dudes. So let's go over the skill tree real quick. I've got 2 weapon sets as well. So I take all the minion damage and energy shield, basically, is what I take. Get a bunch of ES, get a bunch of minion damage, take the presence AoE and spirit. I come over here, get this minion damage. You know, it's just very generic. I think as far as minion trees go, you really just don't need to do much variation, and there isn't much variation to be done. I have Mind Over Matter on this build right now. You don't really need to take Mind Over Matter, but it is extra defense for hardcore, so I'm definitely taking that. And since you don't have to spam spells on this build or anything, you just kind of get to do Mind Over Matter for free, which is perfect for me. Yeah, so let's talk about the secondary weapon swap. So for the weapon set, for the staff, you set all of your weapon points to get increased AoE and skill effect duration. So here's the skill effect duration. Here's AoE. Here's some skill effect duration. Up here is more skill effect duration. And yeah, so after you get all of that, the circle becomes much bigger here, and the AoE and the duration gets increased. And then on your regular weapon set, you have all the minion damage. So basically, for your first weapon set, have all the minion damage, and then you can also probably do like some of the faster start of recharge, like I have here on your first weapon set, and then take those points out for your second weapon set because you're not going to need the minion damage for the 1 second that you're summoning the staff buff, and put all of those points into these points in skill effect duration here, AoE here, AoE here, and skill effect duration here, and skill effect duration up here. So that's basically the tree. This tree gets like near maximum resistances for the minions as well, so they're tanky enough, a lot of damage, and a good amount of percent ES. This tree probably will change in the future as my gear, continues and everything, but that's how it stands for now. And here's the Lich Ascendancy. So the first point I took was the Necromantic Conduit to give my dudes Unholy Might. And the next two I took were Soulless Form and Eternal Life. These are extremely strong because they are very good damage reduction and give you immunity to bleed and poison. And then for my last point, I'm going to either take Crystalline Phylactery for the Jewel Socket to get more energy shield and more minion damage. Hopefully I get a decent jewel for that. And that says 20% ES leading up to it. Or you could take, what's it called? Rupture the Soul for the explosions while you're clearing. Like if I was doing a bunch of breach, stuff like that, like really dense breach, I would probably take this node because it'd be extremely strong for that. And maybe I would go Blasphemy or try and work a curse in some other way like that, but yeah, this is extremely strong. If you're on softcore and you want to use this for clearing stuff, it could be very good. But I'm probably going to lean towards using the ES Jewel. And you could also potentially take this, Blackened Heart, 4% magnitude per 100 mana. Right now I'm just shy of 1,000 mana. So that would be 40% increased magnitude of Unholy Might, which would be, just shy of 15%. So like maybe like 12% damage is extra chaos when you click this, which is a lot of single target damage, to be fair. I'm not sure if this beats out like a good minion jewel that would have like 8% cast speed and 30% damage or something like that. But yeah, this is worth mentioning too, because this is actually a pretty good damage increase, like 14% or so. Yeah, so that's the character, guys. I think that's basically all I have to say. Sorry if this was a bit long and ranty, but I just wanted to go over everything so far. If you want to learn more about the character I'm playing, pop over to my Twitch stream, twitch.tv/Oscrix. And yeah, guys, I will see you there. Thank you so much, and I hope you guys are having fun. Adios.